My girls are emotional, and I don't mean to talk about them because I love them, and I know they'll visit me in the nursing home. But they are lunatics. My husband says they're psycho, and they need therapy. And I'll give you all an example. I can be in the pickup line at school, and this happened when they were in first grade, and it happens every day when I pick them up at school now. I'm sitting in the pickup line, and I can see them come out, and they are in a good mood. And they're goosing each other and giggling and doing and talking and having a good time. They're waving to the teachers and the principal. See you tomorrow. Okay. Then they come over to my vehicle. Get in. Shut the door. My 11-year-old take her backpack and sling it and hit me in the back of the head with it. Every day she says something like this. I'm starving to death. You don't have a piece of cheese in this car? Your driving's making me car sick. I hate her. Why'd you have her? And then my baby will be sitting up there in a daze. She'll be going, Mama, 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 Mama. Mama? What? Mama? 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 What? I'm listening. She asked me some of the craziest things. One day she said to me, did Jesus ever have head lice? How do you answer something like that? I said, well, baby, if he did, I know he healed it. And then my girls be whipping each other in the back seat and telling each other how bad they hate each other and they wished each other were dead. And then my sweet boy will come out. He'll get in and he'll say, you know, they're building a new Home Depot up on 281.
I'm on Instagram a lot. Sometimes I'll just sit on the couch and just scroll through Instagram for like hours. And my husband's like, you're addicted to your phone, which is a little extreme. So I text him back, no, I'm not. But I am. I'm on my phone a lot. Like, way too much. But the people who use their phone while they're on the toilet, that's disgusting. And I am one of those people. What, you thought I wasn't? Girl, please. Sometimes I go to the bathroom and I sit down and I'm like, oh man, forgot my phone. And I just gotta sit there all bored. I wonder what my phone is doing. I have crown molding? Oh, somebody needs to clean in here. That's one option. If you go to the bathroom and you forget your phone, you could just sit there bored. Or you can do the squat and run. Do you guys know the squat and run? The squat and run is when you know where your phone is. It's not that far away. So you squat and run. an option. Maybe some of you are like, ugh, that's nasty. Then don't do it. This is how bad it's gotten. I used to take my phone with me to the bathroom only when I knew I was gonna be there for a while. But now, even if I just have to pee, I take my phone. I sit down, I pee, start scrolling through Instagram. Next thing you know, been there so long, gotta pee again. 2 pee cycles? It's a problem. If you go to the bathroom, you forget your phone, these are your options. You can sit there bored, do the squat and run, or you can call for an assist. Babe?
I thought it'd also be fun to shoot it here since I'm now also a Midwesterner. Thank you. Yeah, I moved to Minnesota last year in the month of January. And that's how you die. 8-month winters are fucking brutal. God. When I hit my 1-year mark of living there, some of my friends were like, oh, how did you celebrate? I was like, oh, I just walked into my bathroom like it was a prison cell and etched 1 tally. I did learn a lot by moving there then. I learned that, God forbid you try using a bidet there in the winter. That water feels like local anesthesia. Did not feel my beehole for 5 months. It's such a weird state. Right when I moved there, I turned on the TV and there were commercials for vacations to Alaska. And that's when I knew I fucked up. I was like, oh, these are broken people. If Alaska is their Cancun. Living in Minnesota and going on vacation to Alaska is like owning a Nissan Sentra and going on vacation and renting a Nissan Sentra. That's the same terrible shit. I moved there to live with my boyfriend, so that's why I did it in January. Because winter sucks and it's better when there's somebody inside you. Thank you, one horny woman. Yeah. I appreciate you. Minnesota was a tough sell, though. I found out also when I got there that they have some of the highest state taxes. I was like, for why? You're cold and expensive? That's like a dog who's ugly and bites. Put it down. Let's get out of here. Skedaddle. And I moved there from Washington where there are no state taxes. So now anytime my boyfriend tries to start a fight with me, I'm like, oh, let me remind you that being your girlfriend now costs me $38 a day. Your dick is a very expensive toll road. Let me set the thermostat to 72. Fuck off. Let's pick our battles today.
Man, moving from the Midwest to New York, what a culture shock. I couldn't start him in the South Bronx. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't. That's not a starter borough. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's... Right? We don't start people in the Bronx. We end them. Don't shoot the messenger. Although we do. We shoot the messenger. Nobody getting messages. But we found a nice starter borough. Astoria, Queens. Great starter borough, right? We moved there, man. I showed them all the artisan coffee shops. I was like, look, your people did that. We moved to this nice, quiet neighborhood, or so we thought, till one day we were driving around and a fight broke out in the middle of the street. 2 grown men started beating the crap out of each other. And my sweet Midwestern husband was like, oh no. I should do something. I was like, if you don't roll up your window right now, I'll fist fight you myself. I was like, what you gonna do, Captain America? You gonna fight 2 grown men? You have psoriatic arthritis, take a seat. I'll tell you what's about to happen. I'm about to watch you get jumped. That's what's about to happen. And I'm gonna watch, because I know how to mind my business. I already learned. This is your lesson, baby, not mine.
She also did the high school chorus, and that was after school, so I would go over there so I wouldn't have to have a babysitter. And she would have the chorus up on the risers, and I would be in the aisles doing cartwheels and back walkovers and splits and stuff, trying to get the high school boys' attention. I had crushes on all of them. They were up here singing their hearts out. It was hot. And I don't know, I was probably in like 3rd or 4th grade. You're a gymnast when you're young because you're unaware of the many ways that your neck can break. And there's a lot of benefits to being a gymnast. You know, you're strong, you're flexible, the leotards and stuff. My mom used to describe my legs as tree trunks, which I tried to explain was damaging. But now I love it. Yeah, you could parkour off these babies. I'm probably gonna end up doing a open leg casket. So, chorus is up here. I'm in the aisles. I have a huge crush on this baritone named Tim. And my mom makes the mistake of letting Tim babysit for me. Very dangerous. For him, my love language is sexual harassment. Most of the time he spent babysitting me was just like stiff-arming the top of my head. Like, while I was like, trying to touch his junk. We were an all-female household. I had curiosities. But Tim was very good to me. He took me to the gas station to get candy. He got me a stuffed elephant one year for my birthday. Point is, good guy. And then that could have been his laugh. Recently, I actually ran into Tim at the grocery store at Dorothy Lane Market. Some fans of the Killer Brownie. So Tim and I were catching up, and he was like, B, oh my gosh, it's been ages. And we were talking and chatting, and he was like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy for everything that you're up to. And then Tim asked me out on a date. Thank you. And I just looked at him and I said, if you didn't want me then.
My mom is my best friend, that's for sure. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, actually. Yes. She is my best friend. Her stories are insanely boring. They are getting out of control boring. So detailed. I don't know if your parents are like this. Her stories have to start at the very beginning of the day. Even if she's telling me a statement from her life, she has to start at when she woke up. She'll be like, oh yeah, so I woke up at 5:00 in the morning. The thunderstorms were really bad rolling in from Chicago, so I couldn't sleep. So I went downstairs and I decided I was gonna make myself some eggs, and I got some scrambled eggs because Dr. Kyle said that I need to get more protein. He actually moved his offices. They're not in Lombard anymore. They're in Oak Brook now, which is nice because it's by the Pottery Barn and by the drive-through Panera Bread. But
Yeah, and then Callie needed to take a walk because her bladder's not doing well. And so I decided to put on my Brooks gym shoes. I've been wearing those in case there's any precipitation outside. It's really good grip. And then I've been using the Hokas as my jogging shoes for the runners group. And then I've been using this new brand called On for my formal gym shoes. 45 minutes into this story, we are not even at 11 a.m. in her day. I said, Mom, what is this story about? Oh, Cheryl got lupus. Cheryl got lupus? Okay, I can see how the gym shoes would. Okay, yeah, I'm seeing the map now. That makes sense.
Y'all, my husband's family is the last group of people that should be asking when there's gonna be more of them. No, Daryl came up to me not too long ago and he said, baby, I think it might be cool to have someone carry on my legacy. I said, baby, what fucking legacy are you talking about? Let me tell you what you're known for in our hometown, Daryl, okay? You hold the record for 3 separate ER visits from singeing your asshole while trying to light farts. That's 1. You're the only person to get kicked out of high school and the Navy in the same calendar year. That's 2. And you got escorted out of a Bass Pro Shops for getting your dick sucked in the duck blinds. Although I was an accomplice on that last one, I'll give him that. I'll give him that. And hey, it sucks he got kicked out and I didn't, but that's the power of titties, baby. So I said, baby, I think the world can live without your legacy. He said, no, you're right. I think my parents just want someone to carry on the family name. I said, baby, the only thing your family name is known for is being on the list of people to not take checks from at the gas station. Matter of fact, if you guys had a family crest, I'm pretty sure there'd be a picture of a stolen Cadillac converter on it. He said, no, you're right. Okay, I guess my bloodline will just end with me. He said bloodline, y'all. Bro, this ain't Game of Thrones. You don't come from a family of regal dragon riders. You do come from a family of illegal drag racers. And the last time the cops caught you street racing, Daryl, they checked your bloodline, and you blew a .27, my man.
Like any B-grade rom-com you comfort watch while you're ovulating, my relationship with my fiancé followed a classic 3-act structure. Act 1 was what I like to call the full of shit stage of the relationship, where the main staples of my persona were twirling my hair and laughing at deeply offensive things. A line I've written in case there are any network radio casters in. In the early days of the relationship, I defected to being so one-dimensional in order to impress him. It was like I'd been written by Judd Apatow. I was just a fleshlight with a pulse. I wore makeup to bed and jet washed my genitals like a patio at the start of spring. Then pretended I love going on top. Going on top during sex is sneaky exercise. It is cardio while trying not to queef on someone's scrotum. On a side note, I truly believe the reason you gain so much weight in a brand new relationship is because you're too scared to shit at their house. Hence the full of shit stage. Act 2 was the long distance period where I learned that sending and receiving naked photographs is something that belongs firmly in casual dating. Where you're performing a gradual striptease via text for someone who never has to know you pissed the bed after 3 wines. And in return, you get the slow reveal of a body you don't yet know. Oh, it's very exciting. You're there like, oh, chest hair, hot. Oh, freckles on the shoulders, hot. Oh, Southern Cross tattoo. Block. Curating an unrealistic naked photograph for a long-term partner who already knows your body very well is like piercing the ears of an ugly baby. You can sprinkle parsley on top of mashed potato, but your baby still looks like Voldemort shrunk. People kind of laugh at that chest hair line, by the way, but a full rug is my genuine kink. I want to lose visibility of my entire hand. Like I'm caressing a hedge. Man, please stop trimming your chest hair. Actually, keep going. Send me the offcuts. I'll keep them in a box under my bed and just rub them on my face. I've just told you guys I kill someone every single night. Yet that is the most murdery thing I have said. And Act 3 was me realising that marriage appears to be the most pointless thing I could do with my one and only life. And if there's married people in, I'm sure you agree. I realised I wasn't the marrying kind when I Googled how to have a feminist wedding. Yeah, the results were like legally binding yourself to a straight man for all eternity, smash that pesky patriarchy by wearing a chic pantsuit. I was shit at the planning process from the very beginning, right? When we were filling in the wedding registration paperwork, I had to write down what my father does. Then I had to pay £90 for new forms after I wrote, play golf and have affairs.
I grew up a little bit sheltered. I think I was one of those kids that played by myself a lot. I had a big imagination. I grew up in Kentucky. I was around horses. I always wanted to be like a cowgirl, right? But my cousins always made fun of me because they were a lot more country than me. They said I was a city kid because I grew up on a cul-de-sac. And I will say, though, we had different childhoods. Okay, the biggest difference between a country kid and a city kid is the country kids, they grow up with farm animals, right? And they're a lot more exposed to the circle of life. Like city kids were a lot more sheltered. Like, when we have a pet, we put a little, we'll put a little sweater on them. Oh, isn't that cute? Oh. And country kids, they put butter on theirs. And they eat it, okay? Country kids, they see death before breakfast. And then they have that death for breakfast. I remember even recently, I went to my cousin's farm that she's raising her 3 kids on, and I was talking to Knox. That's her oldest kid. He's 6. He's telling me how he's helping his daddy with the baby calves. And I was like, well, that's so cool, Knox. What are you doing? You helping feed bottles? And he goes, no, I gotta throw rocks at the buzzards. Because when the calves are born, the buzzards like to circle around up top, and then they dive down and they peck the calves' eyeballs till they can't see no more, and then they can't nurse, and then after a few days they starve to death. Then the buzzards get to eat them for supper, so I got the rocks to the buzzards because Daddy says the government won't let us shoot the bastards. I was like, yeah, I get it. No, I did the same thing, man. When I was your age, I had to feed my gerbil, so. And one time it disappeared, and my mom was like, don't worry, it just gotta shed its winter coat. And sure enough, next day it reappeared, a whole new color. I had this like little brown boy gerbil. Next day, white girl rabbit. What's up? I'm telling you, these country people, they are so much more at ease with death. I even remember when I was 6 years old, my parents took me to the Kentucky State Horse Park for my birthday because I was obsessed with horses. You gotta go. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. There's horses you can pet. There's horses you're not allowed to pet, but you can look them in the eyes and cry. It's Disneyland for middle children. I'm so excited. I'm 6. My birthday party, right? I'm standing outside the front of the park, and I'm looking at a statue of a famous racehorse named Man O' War. When all of a sudden this hillbilly fairy shows up out of a tobacco cloud. He looks like Tinker Bill. Yeah, and he leans over and he goes, "Oh, Man O' War down there." And I was like, "Whoa." What? And he goes, "Oh, Man O' War down there." And I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a boyfriend." And he goes, "No, the whole Man O' War is buried down there." He goes, "Usually when horses die, we gotta chop them up." And I was like, "Oh, I'm 6. I know I'm a big kid now, but this is day 1, so that's a lot to take in." And he just doubles down. He goes, "Usually we cut out the heart and hooves and just bury that. Represent spirit and the speed." And I was like, "Oh, did my mom hire you for the party?" I go, "What do you do with the unicorn?" He goes, "What?" I was like, "Well, the magic part." And he goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I have a girlfriend." And the thing my country family is most proud about me for is not selling out theaters. I see you. It's a rat. My demo. Don't get the ceiling in this shot. No, I'm very rich. I'm very successful. This is actually just a fundraiser so that this 2,000-seat theater can finish their roof. It's because I get to go across the country and open up for David Spade as his body double. We booked a private gig. So he got for himself and all his openers, he got us a private jet. And I was so excited because I've flown 4th class my whole life. I'm like, oh, I've never ridden on one. So I get on this private jet. I have to take a private tinkle. And I don't know if you guys have been on, no, you haven't. You're here. Anyways, okay. But I can't find the bathroom because there's no sign. So all of a sudden, the pilot comes out and he kind of scoffs at me. You know, like the valet scoffs at you when you show him how you get in through your trunk. And then he points to this velvet bench that I was sitting on. And he lifts it up and he goes, "We hide the toilet seat underneath." And it blew my mind. I was like, what? That's some rich people Hunger Games shit right there. I was like, my people, we don't have the toilet. We come from a land called Coach. And we have signs because we eat solids. And I started spiraling. I'm like, we even play games with our potties, okay? So I'm from a land called Louisville, Kentucky, where they have the Kentucky Derby. Has anyone ever heard of it before? Okay, low red, okay, front row. Okay, so what it is, if you don't know, it's this fancy event where wealthy people, they watch these animals run around in circles, you know, and after every race, you can see some of them freaking out. Oh, shit, because they just lost their son's college fund on an animal named Buckle Up Buttercup. But at the Derby, they don't let us hillbillies in the stand. They corral us in the infield, right? So we're there watching the horses race, and we get FOMO. We're like, oh, I want to do that. Hold my moonshine. And so we have ourselves something called porta potty racing, okay? Do y'all know what porta potties are? I want to make sure. Okay. You never know. My tickets are expensive, so, you know. Okay, so what porta potty racing is, if you don't know, porta potties, they're, I just remember the first time I saw a porta potty, I didn't know what it was. I just saw people like lined up and they were so excited to get inside, you know? They were like, oh my, hurry up! And I was like, oh my, what is in there? 'Cause I grew up very Catholic, so I thought they were little confessionals. Because people they looked so worried before they got in, you know, and then they got out, they were so relieved. So I was, okay, so porta potty racing, what you do is you find a line of these guys, okay? That's a God-made landmark. You can read about it in Genesis. And and you go up to the first one in the line, and you ask a man to help you up to the very tip top of it. And he always does, because you have a sundress on. And then, oh, he looks just like you. I knew, okay. Now I clocked you. Okay, and then the name of the game is to try and run across the top of the porta potties without falling in. It's like the floor is lava, but worse. Because it's human lava. Do you get it? Listen, if you fall in, you're gonna wish it was real lava, all right? You would just die, but you don't. And then you just have to remember it at Catholic Mass the next morning. Now, if you get pretty far and you haven't fallen in yet, then there's dudes on the ground that are gonna get excited, you know, because now you're their redneck ninja warrior. They're like, oh my God, she's really doing it. And they can't help themselves. They get so excited, they'll throw full beer bottles at your head, because that's how their dad showed them they were proud. And then if you dodge all the bottles full of love and you make it to the very end, then you get to get arrested. And then you get to go to jail. And you get to talk to your dad again. Anyways, I said all that to the pilot. And he was like, you belong on Frontier.
One thing I would like to happen soon is for people to talk about vaginas and vulvas and all things happening down here in a kinder manner. I feel like there's been a lot of disrespect from men and women when it comes to how we discuss things below. For example, I was talking to a friend who's a woman, and she was thinking about getting an IUD. If you don't know what an IUD is, it's birth control. It can be copper or plastic. They put it in your cervix. It's shaped like a capital letter T. And whenever sperm comes around, it's like, seats taken. And then you don't get pregnant. So my friend was thinking about getting one, and she goes, yeah, my doctor said that every so often I would have to put my fingers up there to make sure my IUD didn't move or fall out. And I'm like, I'm not putting my fingers up there. And I was like, what have you been doing your entire life? Not putting your fingers up there? And she's not unique in this way of thinking. I've talked to many women, I mean women, like above 30, who have said things like, I've never seen my vagina. I've never put my hands inside myself. This cannot continue. This has to stop. Even when it comes to period stuff, I use a menstrual cup and have for the last 10 years. Not the same one. You do have to change them. If you don't know what a menstrual cup is, it's a silicone cup. You fold it, put it in, pops open, it catches all the blood, you dump the blood in the toilet, you wash the cup in the sink, and you put it back in. And I've described this process to other women, And sometimes I'll get the response of, ew. You touch your own blood? Yeah, it's mine, so it's fine. It might be weird if I was like taking someone else's cup out. Or like shampooing with it. Or mixing it in a drink. It's the real Bloody Mary. But it's going in the toilet, it's fine. Also, if you've ever owned a dog or a baby or an old person, you've touched way worse. Also, want to let you know that I'm currently wearing a cup right now. Just to give you a little peek behind the beef curtain. Isn't that fun? You just never know. You never know. You could be talking to somebody, looking them in the eye, and they could be holding. I'm like a molten lava cake right now. She's got a little surprise. But I like talking about this stuff because it doesn't have to be secretive or taboo or icky. It's so natural and normal. I just really want us to stop treating our parts as if it's a separate entity from our body. Just get in there. Get your hands in your pussies. Get those hands in those pussies. Grab yourself by your pussy. You're allowed to, it's yours. Men touch their dicks all the time. All the time. If you shake a man's hand, there's a chance he was just rearranging some thin skin shortly before that point. We should be like that. I'm not saying we should like root around in there and start shaking people's hands. We should just check up on what's happening down there with as much frequency. I have friends who will let someone pound that pussy, destroy that pussy, beat that pussy up. And they won't put a hand mirror down there to make sure it's still intact. It just got destroyed. You're not curious? Also, if you're in the crowd and you're like, oh my God, she's talking about me, I hate this, I'm not judging you. I don't judge anyone for this mentality because we're raised this way. We're raised in a culture that demonizes women for even having bodies and makes us feel like our parts are only important in relation to how they make other people feel. And we get taught these things at a very young age. I remember when I was younger, when I was PT, pre-tits, my mom told me, if your dad is in the house, you shouldn't run around without a shirt on because it would be disrespectful to him. And my mom's not weird for telling me that. She told me that because her mom told her that. And I've talked to many other women who've gotten the same kind of teaching, that we need to cover up and shrink for the men in our household. But it's like, if you think there's someone there who could potentially sexualize a child, let alone their own child, you need to get that predator out of the house. And to make you feel better, my dad didn't show any signs of sexualizing me or finding me sexy, no matter how hard I tried. I was flirting my little ass off. Got no bites. I also feel like we need to tell little girls it's okay to touch yourself and explore your body. So we're not doing weird stuff later. When I was younger, I was raised very Christian, and I thought I was gonna go to hell if I touched myself down here. But I wanted to try, because I heard stories. And I was like, well, maybe if I don't do it, maybe if like an inanimate third party does it, it'll be fine. So the first time I masturbated was with the handle of a lint roller. It didn't feel great. It was lint-free after. And I had a friend, she washed it first. She used the filter of a fish tank because it vibrated and she at least knew it was supposed to do that. We need to tell little girls it's okay to put your hands down there so we're not doing scavenger hunts in our house, trying to find things that fit. Anyone else want to share a household product they put inside of themselves? I'm genuinely asking. Shout it out. A hairbrush? Yes, I love a multi-purpose tool. It's not only for your locks, you can pretend it's a cock. Electric toothbrush, classic. Classic. You gotta fill those cavities. I love it. Was it? A spirograph pen? Now, what is a spirograph? It vibrates? Oh, good. Not one of those normal-ass pins. She's like, I'm not fucking around with Bic. No. This thing has to work. I love it. Anyone else?
Cucumber.
A cucumber! Yes, toss that salad, bitch. Yes. Did it come out a pickle? Guess there was a little acidity in there. Anyone else? The end of a couch. Oh, the end of a couch. I like that. I like that it's specifically the end of a couch. She's like, it's the end of the couch, but my beginning. The beginning of my journey. Anyone else? Okay. Thank you so much to everyone who shared. And for those who didn't, I know. I know. I love asking people about this stuff because it's so natural and normal and we don't talk about it that much. I feel like there's all this stuff in the media that encourages straight boys' sexual exploration. There's a whole movie franchise based on a boy fucking a pie. I counted. There are 8 American Pie movies. 8! I want like a spirograph pin short film or something. Give us something. Also, if you have experimented and put a household product inside of yourself, you're in good company. You have our friends. And there's a whole group of people who are known to have done the same thing. And those people are witches. Allegedly, the imagery that we see of a woman riding a broomstick comes from women being caught putting the hallucinogenic drug DMT on the end of a broom and masturbating with it. So they were flying high on a broom. They were geniuses. They were putting brooms in their hoo-ha, or their brew-hoo-ha. They were getting high while they were getting off, and men were like, kill them. Why would you persecute a person like that? That's not a woman you burn, that's a woman you marry. Clearly she has good ideas. That's someone you follow to the ends of the earth like, what other cool stuff are you doing in the woods? I want to see. I really think a lot of that witch hunt hysteria was just men being upset that women were having fun without them. All the men are like, oh, you don't need me to help you come? And all the women are like, I have a broom. I can sweep myself off my own feet.
There's some people in here who know me, some people who don't. Let's clarify some things. My name is Lace. That is my real name. It's not made up. It's not short for anything, right? But people don't accept that. When they meet me, their response is always, that is so unique. What's your story that goes with it? And I don't have a story. Lace is just the name you get when your parents are 17 when they have you. That's right, you too could share a name with an original American gladiator. If your mom was unsupervised after cheerleading practice. That's right. That's right. I have this little fantasy about like why my parents had me so young, and I like to imagine it wasn't just because they were good-looking, horny teenagers down in Warner Robins, Georgia, you know, getting it on in a 1975 Gremlin, a Gremlin that my dad painted with yellow house paint. I like to imagine my mom could see the future, right? She's a psychic, and she was like, listen here, David, one day we're gonna have a daughter named Lace, and she's gonna find herself broke and childless in her 30s as a has-been beauty queen bartender, pursuing her big dream of being a stand-up comedian, performing all over the country, right? In clubs and barbecue restaurants and living rooms sometimes, performing usually for free in front of tens of people at a time. So here, honey, hold my pom-poms. Help me get out of this cheerleading uniform. We're gonna breed ourselves a winner. Woo! Thank you. Thank you. And she did. She did. My parents are great. They are still together. It's very rare. Very rare. They are together. They shouldn't be, but they are. Right? They're just together out of spite at this point. You know, I'm not gonna let anybody hate you the way that I do, and that's sweet. That's true love. That's the goal for all of us, really, isn't it? Isn't it? They're amazing. They're very supportive of me. It took them a while to be supportive, right? Because nobody wants their kid to grow up and be a stand-up comedian. Nobody wants that. First of all, not a real job, okay? Second of all, they put a lot of work into me, you know? And I know when they see me up on stage, they're like, oh, we're so glad that we sacrificed our childhoods to raise you. So you could make fun of us in front of strangers for validation. Cool. Here's the thing, they'd be way more impressed if I had grandbabies, though. That's what I do know, right? They're supportive of me, but they wish I had grandchildren. And it makes sense that they want grandchildren, you know, because they're in their late 40s, so it's about time. It's kind of late, actually. My mom likes to send me hints that she's ready for grandbaby. She sends me links to cute little baby clothes she finds online. Wouldn't it be so cute if one day you had a little baby girl and she wore this little crocheted bumblebee costume that I found on Etsy that I've already bought 3 of? And I don't appreciate that. That's too much pressure, right? So I've just been replying to her emails with links to cute little nursing homes. Just the cheap ones. I'm like, this one had a COVID outbreak. And I like to tell her, you know, I might be broke, but Costco has caskets. And I've already bought 2 of them, so, you know, I'm gonna keep her on her toes. Which is all fun and games until I remember how close in age we are, and I'm like, oh no, we'll be in the nursing home at the same time. You gotta be careful. Gotta be careful. Here's the thing though, when you have a name like the title of a country song, you have a lot of pressure on you. All right? Because prior to comedy, I did pageants, and that's just what you have to do when your name is Lace, right? It's like it's your responsibility to go out and make it in the big city, right? To keep the family farm alive. Except we didn't have a farm, it was just a trailer, but still. You know, when you have a name like Lace, like, here's your one chance, Lace, don't let us down. Okay? And that's what I had to do. So I had to do pageants for years. I did that. And people are always like, that's so weird that you went from pageants to comedy. That's so different. And I'm like, no, it's not. It's actually very similar, okay? Right? You're on stage being vulnerable, being judged by mostly gay people. Like, it's the same. It's the same thing. But the cool part is like nowadays I still get to be on stage, but I don't have to act like I care about world peace. Thank you. Thank you. I love that, right? I also like get to keep all the food I eat, and I think that's great. That's fun too. The easiest part is getting ready for the show because, like, if I do a comedy show, I don't have to now put a piece of tape on my hoo-ha while I'm backstage. To keep it smooth like Barbie. So I don't have to do that. That saves me a step back there. That's nice. It's nice. That's something we did, by the way. It's important. It's important that we did that, you know, because they won't give you a scholarship if they can see camel toe. It is very important. That is a real thing, by the way. We did that. We would put a piece of tape on, okay? That's what we did. It was called Tootie tape. They don't sell it in the stores, okay? Not yet. I will be selling some after the show. So if anybody's interested in freshening up their lake days this summer, I gotcha. I gotcha. If you're gonna try it out though, you gotta use medical tape, all right? That's very important. It comes off much easier, all right? You don't wanna make a mistake and use duct tape. Not again, not again. Be careful, okay? It hurts, and you might end up with one less lip. And listen, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure you need all four. I don't know why, but you need all four of them, folks. Gotta use medical tape, it's much easier. It's very important, very important. Speaking of pageants, I know I got some pageant people in here tonight. Who's my pageant people? Some back here, some down here. Awesome, good to see y'all. Everyone else is like, why? Why'd you do that? Listen, it got me here, okay? So I'm happy. I've been missing my pageant body lately, though. I have been. All right, did pageants a while back now at this point. They kick you out. You can't stay in them forever. They don't let you stay in. You age out, and they just call it that because they can't tell you that you're no longer allowed to compete because now you have opinions and cellulite. So that's what they call it. They say you aged out. I'm not in there anymore, and people are like, oh my God, you could still do pageants. And I'm like, no, I couldn't, but that's sweet. I appreciate that support, right? That's why I love my girlfriends, because as soon as I told them that I was ready to, get my pageant body back, they're like, we're supportive of you. You can do it, right? They're like, you joined Noom. It's gonna happen, right? And I love that. I love to have supportive friends because they're like, we love that journey for you. And that's sweet. I appreciate it, because that is just the modern day version of bless your heart. We know you're not gonna stop drinking alcohol or start showing up to Orange Theory Fitness, no matter how much you pay a month for it. And those are good friends. Those are good friends, okay? It sucks though because I do comedy, so like I happen to have a lot of Gen Z friends by accident, and you can't tell them you want to lose weight. You can't tell them you want to lose weight because they're like, no, you gotta love your body. Love it for all that it is. And I'm like, first of all, I went through puberty in the 90s, okay? I've hated my body longer than they've been alive. So Don't tell me how to love my body. It's like, call me when you get off your parents' health insurance, first of all. When you have an actual body to fix, okay? And you'll change your mind about that, right? But here's the thing. Maybe they have it right. Maybe these Gen Zers have it right. Maybe body positivity is the way to go. It's healthier for the younger generations. I appreciate that, right? It's a healthier way to go. And you know what? I've picked up a couple ideas from them. For instance, like maybe I shouldn't call it cellulite. I call it cellulite. I shouldn't. Maybe I should just start calling it fingerprints. Right? Just little trophies. Just left over from all the good times I've had. Be proud of it, right? And maybe I need to stop worrying about my boobs sagging one day, right? I don't need to worry about that, you know? Maybe boobs just get heavier. Because they're full of secrets. Left over from all the good times I've had. So maybe that's what it is. And guys, all right, I don't want to leave the fellas out of this. Gentlemen, listen, your balls. All right? They're not getting longer and more disgusting. I'm just kidding, they are. That is it's exactly what's happening, all right? First of all, why are they on the outside? Okay, if they're so important, why are they protected by your abdomen, all right? Also, they are by far the most confusing body parts between all the sexes, right? If it's hot, they're long and stuck to your thighs. If it's cold, they disappear. The only body part that plays peekaboo with itself. Very strange, very strange. When you guys sit down, where do they go? Are you sitting on them? It's just a strange body part, that's all I'm trying to say. Don't get me wrong, penises, big fan, love them, love them. Love a dick, love them. This is how you know women don't care for balls. When we buy vibrators, are their balls attached? Nope. No. Because they're weird. Right? Also, women are supposed to be the weaker sex, yet I can take you down with one flick. Boom, I'm done. One tiny flick of the finger. One little tap the back of my hand, you're fucking down. Who's weak now? All right? Thank you. You could punch my titty, I'll come back for more, right? Like, it doesn't... Can't stop me. Kick a twat, nothing's gonna happen, all right? I can fight harder then, okay?
Why is it that the people that are the most fluid about gender and sexuality and monogamy are the most determined to put you in an astrological box? Okay? I'm a Taurus. Guilty. My Taurus hive. Rise up. No, what am I saying? Listen. I've been on Twitter too much. Still, why am I there? I'm a Taurus, but I'm a lot of other things, all right? Based on how I grew up, the experiences that I've had. My best friend is non-binary, identifies as a dyke, is polyamorous, and gluten-free. The last part isn't part of it, but it is. It's Deanne, you know. Okay. Every time I talk to them, they're like, what time were you born? I'm like, I don't know. It was a long time ago. I don't remember. They want to calculate my astrological chart. You know, my sun, my moon, Don't pretend like you don't know what these things are. My sun, my moon, my rising. There is so much math involved in these astrological charts. Do you know how many women we've lost to STEM? Because they're so busy doing the math. on these astrological. We could have had a female Elon Musk by now. Okay? We could have had a Shelon. Like, nightmare, but why not? You know? I've asked my parents what time I was born. They don't know. That's the end of the information trail. What do you want me to do? Call up the hospital I was born at under socialized medicine? You think you get a birth certificate? No. And call them up. Be like, yeah, do you mind going through your records? I need to know what time I was born. No, it's not for any official reason. It's that my best friend doesn't have a complete picture of who I am. We've watched porn together, this friend and I. Okay? Have you watched porn with a platonic friend? It's awkward. No? I mean, gay guys, maybe you do that. I know, straight guys, I actually don't know. Maybe you're just like, there's no football on, so we jerked off together. I don't know what you do. It was an accident. There was a viral video going around at the time. It was, it was supposed to be funny. You share those. It was pterodactyl porn. Yeah. If you don't know and you want to look it up, pterodactyl has a P in front of it. Sometimes people don't know that. But pterodactyl. Okay? Here's the problem. It was not funny. No. It was just porn. It was a straight up gangbang. That's it. We were watching. Yeah. They were dressed as pterodactyls. But they were not acting like pterodactyls at all. They just couldn't high five on account of their wings. That was I was having dinner with my mom and stepfather, and my mother was asking me about this friend of mine from the pterodactyl porn. That's not how my mother knows them. That's how you know them. And saying, how is she, you know? And I said, and I just hadn't yet explained that they go by they, them now, and that they're non-binary. And it just had never been the moment. My friend wasn't there. And I just didn't feel like explaining. But finally, it was an okay night. And I decided to explain it and to say, Deanne goes by they, them. And my mom didn't miss a beat. It was like, actually, no problem. She was like, oh, of course, Jessica. We need to accept men that become women and women that become men and people that are nothing. Okay? If that's what makes them happy. We cannot be racist. Black Lives Matter. I'm like, oh my God, what infographic? I was trying to relate to them, because my mom is 70, but my stepfather's like 91. I know, he's like asleep at this point. We're just whispering in his ear, put us in your will. And no, but they were into it. They were into the conversation. I think they were just like, as long as she's not talking about Israel, no problem, Top surgery. Oh, they didn't get the nipples put back on? No problem. Interesting. Okay. I was trying to relate to them and say that, we're all old in this way. Like, I didn't grow up with gender-neutral pronouns, and I know you didn't either, and we're all learning, we're all growing, because I'm cisgendered, and that's when my mother lost it. She was like, what is that, Jessica? I cannot take one more thing from you. Oh my God. I want to talk about, there's a group of people who, in 2023, even in liberal cities, like especially actually in progressive places, don't feel like they can be open about who they are. And that is people who were born rich. The kind of people who, when pressed, will say, I'm comfortable, right? Which is code switch for, I'm rich, bitch. That's... And as a member of the LGBTQIA community, let me say, I know that we can't help how we're born. And also that living in the closet, even if it is a large walk-in with custom cabinets, LED lighting, and closets within that closet, is still no way to live. If someone doesn't want to talk about money, they have a trust fund 100% of the time. And I believe that we should encourage these people to be open about it. I think we should make them feel good about being transparent, right? Because when they're not, it just reinforces a system where people who don't own their own home are made to feel like it's because they bought too many Jordans and avocado toasts. And there is no amount of coffee you can make at home that will get you a mortgage. It just doesn't add up. And so if we want to dismantle the system, and I know that we do, Park Slope, Brooklyn, I know that we do. I think we need to make people who were born rich, people with rich parents, I think we need to make them feel good about it. Like, if they're honest, they're still going to be liked by, for example, laughing at their jokes tonight. Like mine. A person who will pay every single one of you to make her feel like she killed. There's nothing I want to talk about less than money. I never want to talk about money, and that is because I have it. And it gets worse that I didn't make it. And if I had made it on my own, I'd be the first person to show it off. Bottles, models, logos, labels. Instead of inviting people to the park for another godforsaken picnic, asking a bunch of 30 and 40-year-olds to lower themselves with their newly bad backs onto a blanket to cut hard cheddar off a charcuterie board with a plastic knife, okay? But these are the people we celebrate, the self-made, the people that got rich from nothing, you know? Started at the bottom now. We love them. They're the ones we want to, they should show us your crib. Let's fucking go. Let's see that Lamborghini. These are the people we should be quietly shaming. Yeah. Pulling themselves up by their bootstraps against considerable odds, making the rest of us look bad. All right? I know you guys are like, oh, Jess, that's a great story. Yeah. A great story that reminds everyone that capitalism can be awesome. I don't think so. Not on my watch, all right? Listen, I know I'm not the only comedian in New York with rich parents. But I am the least successful. You know, there's a lot of focus on Nepo babies and trust fund kids not earning their success. But what about those of us who, despite every advantage, have still managed to achieve nothing? Thereby leaving more room for people to be successful who really need it. Where's our New York Magazine story? Yeah. No, I would rather talk about anything but money. I would rather get up here and engage earnestly with Jordan Peterson's ideas. Like I think it would be better if I told you I had committed a murder. I think, yeah, if I confessed to murder right now, you guys would be like, at least she's not a trust fund kid. She's just a hardworking female murderer making her way in a male-dominated murderer world. What does she even own, a shed? She can't have a bank account. They'll trace it back to the murders. I don't know if this is going to make it better, but I do want to clarify that I'm like White Lotus rich, not like Succession rich. My mother, also born rich. I am second generational rich. I inherited it from her genetically, and I realized my mother was rich. I remember the day. It was when she asked me why Dolly Parton's song is called 9 to 5. Why those hours specifically, Jessica? I want you guys to know that I don't like rich people either. I don't like rich people either. And yeah, and you know, and so I don't hang out with rich people, and it would be easier if I did, because then we would all just be rich. But everybody I know is poor. Everyone I know is poor, and I don't have anyone to ski with.